And sometimes they revert in the middle of the 7 days. So if you did it on Monday and came in on Saturday to read it for the very, very first time, it might have gone to yellow and back to pink. Somebody's in here did. Who was it? Yeah, hers reverted. So if you don't read it every other day, it can give you an important misleader in your results, not in we're doing a word question.
No, but what I'm trying to say is for BP, for example, yesterday we did it, today we have to read it and determine whether it's positive or negative and discard the two, right? We don't
Right, but if you waited till Monday, it would still be red if it was positive. It wouldn't revert. Go backwards. All right, so that takes care of MRVP. Let's talk about motility. And remember that the motility test, there's like 4 ways to detect motility. If I say it's atrichous, what does that mean? Non-modal, without a flagella. If I said it was had an axial filament, it would be modal. If it had, of course it's obvious if it has an endoflagella. If I said I did the mascara technique and saw a projection, then it would be modal. Or if I saw tumbling under the hanging drop, and I hide the hanging drop test by saying the scope test that must be read in 3 minutes. If it has a flagella, it's modal. If it grows on a plate with steps, with rings or steps, it's modal, means it's swimming across a plate. If it's fuzzy in the motility stab, it's modal. What if it is a solid red line? Negative. Let's see if there's anything else I can tell you about and trick you with motility.
What did you say about the endoflagella?
It has an endoflagella, it's called an axial filament.
Oh, it's the same thing.
That's the Treptonema pallidum spirochete that's modal by an axial.
Professor?
First one, what does that say? I'm sorry. About the axial filament?
Atrichous,
Oh, atrichous.
without a flagella, yeah.
What does it say under hanging drop?
Where is hanging drop, it says the scope test that must be read in 3 minutes. Anything else I could hint about motility? Can't think of anything.
That's enough.
Okay, that's motility. Pigment. A lot of you have not read pigment. What? A lot of you have not read morphology and pigmentation on the cards. And morphology and pigmentation tells you that one bacteria, genus, has a temperature-dependent pigment. The name of that is the genus Serratia. And if you look on the dang gram-negative key in the middle at the bottom, it will say red pigment observed. That means that if you grow this in an incubator, which is 37, it will be white on auger or slants. If you grow it in at room temperature, it will be pink or red. Same microbe, two different colors on the slant or plate. There is also a pigment where it turns green. It's a water-soluble pigment produced by Pseudomonas, so that if you're growing it on agar, the agar will turn green. If you scoop up the growth and put it in a ONPG, the liquid will turn green. That's Pseudomonas. There is a gram-positive diplocoxy. These are all gram-negatives. There's a gram-positive diplocoxy that will go red, reddish-orange, on the agar. And that's Micrococcus roseus. There's another one that will grow vivid yellow. And that's Micrococcus luteus. And finally, Staphylococcus will grow creamy yellow on agar. All the others grow white.
Professor?
I was in the middle on it. Creamy yellow.
No, the first one.
Staphylococcus.
No, the other one. Micro.
Other what?
Right behind it. Micro.
Gram-positive diplo.
Micrococcus luteus.
What does that one say on top of that? I can't read.
Micrococcus roseus.
Pseudomonas? Yeah.
Oh, Pseudomonas. Okay, capsule. That's the negative stain. The negative stain, there is a halo around the microbe. A halo is one of them. Let's see. It has a polysaccharide. Shell. It is negative stain positive. The stain that's not a stain. Showed positive. The stain that's not a stain is the negative stain. All of those things say capsule positive, and if you look on the gram-negative list, under Klebsiella, it says capsule positive. Questions about anything on word problems? Yes?
For the negative stain, okay, so halo around microbe is positive,
Yep.
and then, you said has microbe polysaccharide shell is positive,
Right?
and then, what is that on the bottom?
Stain that's not a stain?
Yeah, so it can never be negative, or
No, it can
negative,
be negative if
Negative,
the
none of
stain
those
that's
things.
not a stain showed black.
okay.
By the way, when I use black, most people think hydrogen sulfide, so it gets you screwed over with two.
Okay, and then for the pigment,
Yep.
are we gonna go through one of the problems that have that? Cause I really wouldn't know how to apply that to like working through the key.
No?
not
I
gonna
mean,
go
it'll
through
say,
any problems?
growing on agar, it was pink.
Okay.
Okay, so let's try doing a couple of word problems just for fun. Because I know you have fun doing these. My word.
Goodbye to life. I love you.
Anybody have problem with one of the practice ones that they want me to work out? Well, we already did the first one in class, and it was on your last test, so I'm not doing that. But I will do the second one if you want, and third one.
Can we just make sure we do at least 1 gram positive and 1 gram negative?
Let's see if I can get through all of them in time. What? Yes, remind me at 10:30 and I'll take multiple choice questions from the peanut gallery. You know what the peanut gallery is? Back in the old South, people that were not acceptable. Alright, we're putting in the balcony, which I always thought was hilarious because I'd much rather sit in the balcony than down on the floor. And if they found something insulting or funny, they would throw peanuts at the stage. So, I'll take questions from the low class people in the peanut gallery. Alright, so we're going to do question 202. We're going to do it the right way, not the cheaty way. Alright, this unknown was pink on the underscore stain, so what was it? Negative. 4 negative. Didn't say anything about holes, didn't say anything about green ovals. It was blue on the acid-fast stain and blue on the differential stain that uses crystal violet. So what was the gram? Positive. And what was the acid-fast? Negative. Okay, it was slightly round shape, which means it was round.
The gram stain should be negative.
Huh?
The gram stain should be negative on that.
Oh,
It's blue on
did it
the
say
acid
red?
stain and
No, it
pink.
didn't. It said blue.
You're looking at 103, Professor.
I see. I'm looking at 203. Sorry. Well, let's keep on with 203. We'll come back to that one. Since I've already started it. Slightly round. Remember, slightly pregnant. All right. Methyl red was yellow. So what's the MR? Nope. Negative. Red is the only methyl red's the only fermentation test where positive is a reddish orange. Yes.
So slightly round shape, you're gonna call that coxy?
Yep.
I thought you said, oh, no, okay.
Modifier is are ignored. Round is what the shape is.
So I thought you said it would be, in order to be coxy, it would be globular, it would be round, it would not be slightly anything, but slightly anything, that means it's a rod.
Slightly is just a modifier for the word behind it.
So slightly round is coxy, it's not a rod.
You know, I'm slightly white. Kind of true. I don't look as white as her. All right. So methyl red is negative. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Acetylene was not noted, so that's BP negative. Hydrogen peroxide was bubbling. So your cat, catalase. I'm going to use cat on this test. I can't wait. All right. Bubbling, and the BP remained brown, so it's negative.
Oh, but it doesn't say after reagents were added.
Hydrogen peroxide, that's the reagent.
No, hydrogen peroxide.
Okay, the OMPG test was clear, so that's lactose. Negative.
Which one?
The acetone was not noted, so how is it BP negative?
Acetone is what you look for in the BP.
Yeah, but it's not recorded, it's not noted.
Not noted meaning it wasn't seen. If you didn't take any notes, you didn't do anything. So if you add the reagents and you didn't detect it,
But
then
it
it's
doesn't say
not
that you
noted.
added the reagents,
No,
it just
but-
said it wasn't noted.
I know, but you're looking for acetylene, so you add the reagents to look for it, you don't just get the raw.
Definition of purity, like.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
at the top it says, it assumes that all microbes were isolated in log growth and inoculated and incubated at optimum temperature. All right, so let's see, where were we? Okay, nitrate showed pink after reagents and zinc. So what's the nitrate?
Negative.
Negative. Dextrose was broken. Oh, how sad. The Kliggers was yellow. Well, if Kliggers is yellow, one, hydrogen sulfide is negative. We already know that the lactose is red, so where's the glucose gotta be? Gotta be positive. So glucose was positive, and H2S is negative.
Okay, I'm lost. I'm sorry, I'm lost.
We already told you lactose was negative on the OMPG. If lactose is negative and the tube in Kliggers has yellow, but it doesn't tell you what the other colors are, you know it's black is not mentioned, so it's not hydrogen sulfide. You already know that that tube has to have a red lactose because you already know it's lactose negative. So the red is here, so where can only place the yellow can be? Here. So that's glucose positive.
So you wouldn't assume that the whole tube is yellow?
Nope, just yellow. It didn't say where. I mean, if it said in the butt or if it said in the slant, that'd make interesting. But it just says Kliggers was yellow. So you don't know where the yellow is. You just know there's not three colors. And you know that the lactose test, OMPG, is incredibly trustworthy. All right, this unknown was identified as. So now we're going to try to figure it out from the information we have. We go to gram positive coxy, catalase positive, glucose fermented, and does it give us any hint on whether it was aerobic or not? Let's see. Catalase is bubbling, so that means that it was probably micrococcus.
But it's glucose positive. Glucose positive. Glucose was
Oh, it was glucose positive, thank you. And the nitrate was negative, so it had to be staph. No, nitrate was not negative, so it has to be Gathia.
What?
Or nitrate reduced means positive. Oh, you're right, staphylococcus. Sorry, tried to zoom through it. All right, let's do 202.
Wait, Professor,
Yep,
I have a question.
that's good.
So nitrate,
Order.
nitrate reduced is positive when it says nitrate not reduced is negative. I just want
Right.
to make sure. Okay.
Which annoyed me that they put it that way, because if you quick scan it like I did, that you see the negative.
Was
Yeah.
there nitrate negative?
How do you know what the nitrate's gonna do?
Nitrate reduced to nitrite. Is it reduced?
Yeah, it was.
Let's just see.
Yeah.
Our nitrate was negative,
Nitrate
wasn't
not
it?
reduced.
Yeah.
Nitrate negative
So it's
would
not
mean
reduced.
Gathia.
Yeah, that'd be not
Nitrate
reduced.
not reduced.
It's not reduced.
Not reduced. You're right, Gathia. See, that little negative sign drives me nuts. Gathia. All right, the next one was 202. We're going to do it. See if I can bring it down so I can see it better. Okay, pink on the endospore. Blue on the acid fast. And gram negative on the gram stain. Slightly longer than round is a rod.
How did you get?
Wait, how did you get gram negative?
It was pink on the differential stain that uses crystal violet. Okay, Kliggers was black with a yellow. So you know it's hydrogen sulfide positive. Now, we have to figure out where was the yellow. We have black, which is hydrogen sulfide positive. Some other test is going to tell us lactose or glucose. We know one of them's positive, we just don't know which one yet. Rings of growth in an auger plate, so it's modal. Mixed acid broth and methyl red reagent showed yellow, so it's MR negative. Coasters showed tiny particles, citrate positive. EMB showed purple, lactose positive. So that was probably where the yellow is. All right, tryptone broth was brown, so that's VP, and the mannitol was positive. So mannitol,
Tryptone is indole.
what? I know, I haven't written it.
You said VP.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Tryptone was brown, so that's indole. Okay, right. Colonies were greater than black on oxidase, that's negative. Litmus milk showed purple. Confusing. But litmus milk purple should say lactose negative, but do we trust that test? Not very much. So we're going to keep that in mind. All right. Clear means casein was positive. Acetone was not noted, so VP is negative. So now we're going to look on the gram-negative side of our chart. We're going to have a problem. The problem is we can assume from this that the yellow was probably lactose, but it doesn't tell us whether it was yellow all the way through or yellow after. So you're going to have to write if. If glucose is positive, then if glucose is negative, then. So you're going to get two answers.
You mean lactose, right?
No, I mean glucose. There is nothing to tell us our glucose result except it said Kliger's was yellow. Did it mean yellow all the way through? Or did it mean yellow only at the bottom? But our other test told us it was lactose at the top, so we know one of them was positive. All right, so now connected. Thank you. Love that. So our glucose not fermented. Let's try that first. We are a rod. Glucose not fermented. Let's see if any of ours help us. Casein positive, but oxidase negative. That's not. Oxidase negative. So what would you write? Acetinobacter. So this one would be ACINEPO bacter.
That would be glucose negative.
Negative.
If glucose is negative. All right, and then we'll double check that. Oxidase is negative, so that, and so yes, that one has to be the right answer for it, negative. Let's see if glucose is positive. Then we go down and look at our citrate. Citrate is positive, which puts us down the central aisle. Our hydrogen sulfide was positive, which puts us in the far left. Our indole was negative. Our gelatin was not mentioned, but our mannitol was positive, right? Yeah. Which takes us to lactose not or lactose is, and we say lactose is, so what was the other answer? Salmonella. No. Lactose fermented, you're right. Sorry. And that is citrobacter. So on the test, if you got both of these and you put all of this, you would get 10 points for each one, and 5 for doing the if. So you could get 25 points from this one word question. Yeah.
The word questions are now worth, what are you saying? More than 50
They've
points?
always been worth 10 points for each word question you get right, except on the pretest they were worth 5.
Okay, so it's worth 50 plus.
Yeah, it'll be about 70 or 80 usually.
Wow.
And how much is each multiple
Multiple
choice
choice?
question worth?
Half a point. What to concentrate on? Let me think. Oh, I can't figure it out. All right, so let's move to the next one. We've done 203. We got 15 minutes to do this.
How many multiple choice questions?
5.
Multiple choice.
200.
200. We were done at 11.
So I just memorized everything.
10, 15.
It was 4 days. Memorized all of it. Or they're really simple. I wish we had time, just like another one.
Change it to the format. 45 minutes.
Yep.
We're going to take just about 2 minutes for him to change the video camera to a different format because if it has a flagella, it's modal. If it grows on a plate with steps, with rings or steps, it's modal, means it's swimming across a plate. If it's fuzzy in the motility stab, it's modal. What if it is a solid red line? Negative. Let's see if there's anything else I can tell you about and trick you with motility.
What did you say about the endoflagella?
It has an endo, not red, morphology and pigmentation on the cards. And morphology and pigmentation tells you that one bacteria, genus, has a temperature-dependent pigment. The name of that is the genus Serratia. And if you look on the dang gram-negative key in the middle at the bottom, it will say red pigment observed. That means that if you grow this in an incubator, which is 37, it will be white on auger or slants. If you grow it at room temperature, it will be pink or red. Same microbe, 2 different colors on the slant or plate. Modal, without a flagella. If I said it was had an axial filament, it would be modal. If it had, of course it's obvious if it has an endoflagella. If I said I did the mascara technique and saw a projection, then it would be modal. Or if I saw tumbling under the hanging drop, and I hide the hanging drop test by saying the scope test that must be read in 3 minutes. Flagella is called an axial filament.
Oh, it's the same thing.
That's the Treptonema pallidum spirochete is mobile by an axial.
Professor?
First one, what does that say? I'm sorry. About the axial filament?
Atricus
Oh, H.
without a flagella, yeah.
What does this say under hanging drop?
Where is hanging drop, it says the scope test that must be read in 3 minutes. Anything else I could hint about motility? Can't think of anything.
That's enough.
Okay, that's motility. Pigment. A lot of you have not read pigment. What? A lot of you have, and sometimes they revert in the middle of the 7 days. So if you did it on Monday and came in on Saturday to read it for the very, very first time, it might have gone to yellow and back to pink. Somebody's in here did. Who was it? Yeah, hers reverted. So if you don't read it every other day, it can give you an important misleader in your results, not in we're doing a word question.
No, but what I'm trying to say is for BP, for example, yesterday we did it, today we have to read it and determine whether it's positive or negative and discard the two, right? We don't
Right,
read
but
it
if you
and-
waited till Monday, it would still be read if it was positive, it wouldn't revert, go backwards. All right, so that takes care of MRVP. Let's talk about motility. And remember that the motility test, there's like 4 ways to detect motility. If I say it's atricus, what does that mean?
Without the umbrella.
Non